Alright, it's Monday. We're going to be prepping some Pathfinder. Some Pathfinder 2E, Outlaws of Alkenstar. We're going to be running that campaign starting in August. It's going to be run on Monday nights, and the second game will be run on Saturday mornings. We have already looked through the book, book 1 of 3 books for the campaign. We have a server built. We have the maps and miniatures and such purchased from Paizo. Beautiful. They're nicely set up. Everything's ready to go. During the creation of these things, we came up with some other stuff that we need to prep, that we need to do. So my goal here is to kind of hit up that list of miscellaneous things and knock them out. So it's not about running the adventure at this point, it's about understanding the adventure. So in order to better do that, we got to get our notes document open. I went and downloaded the Pathfinder 2E campaign setting, I guess, for lack of a better term, the world guide for Lost Omens. So we'll be using that today as well to help us flesh out more stuff. Alright, so we've got that. We got the player's guide. Maybe it'll open the player's guide. I don't know why it won't open them in at the same time. It's kind of weird. There you go. And then the adventure. Man, alright. Really working hard to get those files open there, Adobe. Alright, so let's go grab our notes. Such as they were. Alright, so here we go. We got our game open to the left. I guess we'll just do 50-50 on this. And then I'll move this over. We'll do fit so we can kind of see what we're doing. I'll drag this over so it'll be nice and big. And let's take a look. Alright, so we still need more art for gun marshals and citizens. So that didn't get taken care of. Research the Alkenstar region. Alright, well, no time like the present to research the Alkenstar region. Okay. Internet's not doing great, so hopefully the stream doesn't crash too hard. But we'll see. Okay. Where should I put Alkenstar notes? I guess right here at the beginning. Alkenstar. Alright, so we'll go to the world guide. And I guess I will see, this would be Inner Seas. Will this be covered by this book? Maybe. Let's just search for it. See if that shows up. Control F, Alkenstar. Alright, The Impossible Lands, page 72. Alright, so the Impossible Lands include the nation of Alkenstar, Geb, Nex, those are the 2 warring wizard communities, Jalmaray, which is a chaotic neutral princely state, colonial princely state, chaotic neutral, goddamn, and the Mana Waste, the spell-scarred wasteland, which is not really a nation at all, it's just a region. The most common people in the area are dwarves, Gurundi, Gnomes, Kelishites, Mwangis, Vudrani. Alright, I was not aware of that at all, nor do I know who any of these fucking people are. So, I guess we're going to look that up real quick. Alright, so let's see. Pathfinder 2E. What is a Gurundi? Alright. Let's see. The Gurundi, pronounced Garundi, are a human ethnicity most commonly found on the eponymous continent of Garund. Garund? Alright, Garund. But who have spread throughout the Inner Sea region. Among Golarian's tallest humans, the Garundi boast dark skin, sharp cheekbones, broad shoulders, and premature, bright white hair. They normally favor colorful clothes that are practical and beautiful regardless of how far from Garund they live. Men often wear long robes, kilts, pointed hats, or sashes, while women can be seen dressed in billowing blouses, decorative scarves, and wraps. Many Garundi in far-off lands try to incorporate traditional clothing into their outfits. This does not mean that Garundi fashions are culturally orthodox. Those living in northern Garund, for instance, tend to incorporate Kelishite modes of dress into their appearance, while those living in Vudra adhere to many of the local fashions no matter where they live. However, since the temperatures can vary so much, they tend to dress in layers to make it easy to adapt their clothing as appropriate. Alright. They are fond of the elder deities, or those that have special ties to their particular homeland. This includes Gazre, Nethys, Pharasma, Sarenrae, and even Urgotho. Their most widely worshipped deity is Nethys, who I guess made the Wikipedia that we use all the time. All right. Okay. Let's see. Culturally, they are renowned as a friendly and helpful people whose culture is based around small familial clans. I'm going to zoom in because my resolution is really high. You know, it's kind of hard to read. All right, the Garundi are renowned, blah, blah, blah. These clans are formed, they form the basic unit of society. Hierarchies within the clan are complex, rarely understood by outsiders. Complex hierarchy. Due to the migratory nature of the Garundi people, a clan on the move frequently enters other clans' territories. Old customs govern how they treat each other. Because clans new to a geographic area must always subjugate themselves to any Garundi clans already present, landless clans tend to wander the world searching for a place of their own. This journey can take years or even generations, and the clans always carry mementos from anywhere that they have traveled. Neat. Okay. So, interesting. Alright, we're going to go here, and Alkenstar, and we're going to put peoples. And let's see, melting pot, and then Garundi, and then we will link that information. Alright, pretty sure we know about dwarves and gnomes, but I'm sure we'll be surprised even further. Kelishite. Alright, what or who is a Kelishite? Oh. Alright, the Kelishite, pronounced Kelishites, are born in the deserts of Kasmaran, specifically the Padisha Empire of Kalesh, who reflect the heat of the desert in the fieriness of their passions. They are quick to anger and to forgive, always pride themselves on their wit and intelligence. While Kelishites often have a racial arrogance that can be quite off-putting to outsiders, considering what they have achieved as people, it is not surprising. They always have black hair and brown eyes or gold eyes. Men generally like to grow out their beards. They favor light, loose-fitting clothes, adapted to the desert heat and sand. Kelishites wear jewelry of gold and silver. Headdresses, veils, and turbans are all common to keep the stinging sand out of one's eyes and hair. Many Kelishites who live in deep desert have black or dark blue tattoos beneath their eyes to ward off the sun's harsh glare. That's pretty cool. Kelishites share some of the physical traits with Taldans, their ancestral cousins. Kelishites can be difficult, for they are a proud people with a great sense of superiority. Many value gregariousness and sly wit, leaving a memorably brash and colorful impression on others. Culturally, most Kelishites speak Kelish, the language of their homeland, though most who reside in the Inner Sea speak Taldane as well. I don't know what the fuck Taldane is. Guess we'll figure that out. The Kelishites are great lovers of luxury, and the Quadiran palaces of Kathir are renowned for their opulence. Horse racing is one of their favorite pastimes of the rich. Wealthy Kelishites pay thousands of gold pieces for prize horses. Despite the wonders of their homeland, Kelishites possess an insatiable curiosity about the rest of Golarion that drives much of their trade with faraway lands. Think you got this campaign in under 40 sessions? No more 2 sessions, LOL. Yeah, so here's the thing. As long as they don't waste my time every week with indecision, and they're playing the actual Pathfinder game. If they need more sessions, I'll give them more sessions. But yeah, I'm probably not gonna put a hard cap on these particular games. I'm gonna treat them like my Curse of Strahd games. They'll be over when they're over, essentially. So, let's see. Sometimes games need to have a fire lit under their butts, or they'll go on forever. Let's see. Gender roles. Kelishite culture has views on gender roles that much of Golarion finds odd. Female Kelishites are treated like princesses or priceless jewels, as it is they who give birth to the next generation. The light of inheritance also goes through women rather than men. Kelishites claim that this stops the constant male fighting that is so common in many other kingdoms. The men, on the other hand, have to earn their place through whatever means they excel at. When questioned about this approach, Kelishites point to the long-lasting nature of Qadira as proof of how well the system works, although in truth, the backstabbing of the women of Qadira and the lengths to which men will go to ensure a desirable match are just as ludicrous as the conflicts that the rest of the world deal with. 99 problems, and a bitch is one of them, and probably a horse or two in Kelishite culture. Alright, so now we know what a Kelishite is. I'll add that to the list. Let's see. Now, could we just run Outlaws of Alkenstar and be like, it's cowboy time. Howdy, howdy, partner. Howdy, howdy. It's cowboy time. Yeah, we could. We totally could. Do we need to know all of this stuff about the campaign setting? Do we really need to learn everything about Golarion? No, we don't really need to do that. I just feel like, it's like putting in the effort, right? To try to make the game a little bit more than just howdy howdy, Red Dead Redemption, cowboy game. We're here in the Wild West. Here's Will Smith on a robot spider. Yeah, so do we need all this? Probably not. But I think it's kind of cool to learn more about the setting. So that's why I'm setting aside some time for this. Should I just worry about the game itself and then come back for this later? There's a strong argument there. I could probably just do that. Alright, so the Mwangi often refer to a group of related but ultimately distinct ethnicities of humans who inhabit Garun's western coast, the jungles and plains of interiors, and the southern reaches of the continent. Cool. The Mwangi people varies according to their subtype. Oh my goodness. The Zenj, the Banuat, the Maxi, and the Bekyar. Members of all 4 subgroups commonly share physical traits such as dark skin varying in tone from dusky through gray to coal black, and black hair worn in a variety of styles. As the Mwangi peoples are comprised of several distinct cultures, there is no single Mwangi style of clothing. So this is a subgroup of humans with 4 more subgroups. All right. All of the various tribes of Mwangi are descended from what must have been once a vast empire located in central Garund. Huge ruins of ancient fortresses, blah, blah, blah. Pathfinder 1 happened 10,000 years ago, blah, blah, blah. There is still a mummified king living in Walkena, which is not Wakanda, so don't get overexcited. He has returned to life, and he wants to reclaim the lost empire's former glory. Well, that sounds spicy. That's probably detailed in the Mwangi source book that you could purchase from Paizo.com, hashtag not sponsored. Culture. There is no single united Mwangi culture. Each of the 4 main ethnic groups has its... So you can have a high... Okay, let's just keep going. Most prefer interlinked tribal structures, though the Moxie people of Thuvia do not. Opinions are divided whether the Kaldaru and the Lurgeni are related to any other groups. They are separate subgroups in their own right, not actually part of the Mwangi culture at all. Non-Garundi people often have trouble telling the 4 main ethnic groups apart, as the Mwangi have only recently begun venturing beyond their homelands, ... after 10,000 years. Wow. Least known of the 4 major groups, the Bekyar live in southern Garund, and they are prominent slavers and traders. Uh-oh. Don't tell my friend Misc Peterson. Bekyar are extremely tall, many reaching 7 feet in height. Their skin varies in color from dark brown to black, and they wear their wiry hair long, often in elaborate styles. They are known as demon worshippers. I mean, they're slavers. Okay. Bekyar tribes include the Bandu from the Bandu Hills. Makes sense. The Yemba, the Rastun of the Little Vanji River. Bekyar names often include blah, blah, blah. Banuats, they are the seafarers. Hey, they're from the Shackles. These are the Mwangi that we had in 10,000 years ago, I guess, in Skull and Shackles. Alright, the Moxie are native to the Rahadum, and the Thuvia speak Assyriani, as well as polyglot. Alright, what the fuck is... These are languages, I'm sure. The ruling caste of Thuvia includes some Moxie. They tend to be more withdrawn and taciturn, most deny any connection to the other Mwangi groups, but some of the younger Moxie harken back to their tribal history. They are tall, with straight hair and ashen skin. Moxie names are often taken from other cultures with whom they frequently trade. Okay. And then there's the Zenj. Zenj? They believe the most common of the Mwangi ethnicities living in hundreds of smaller tribes in the jungles and savannas of the Mwangi expanse. Some of the tribes live in villages alongside the region's many rivers, tending to their cattle and goats. How did Cowboy Land and... Alright, whatever. 2 types on friendly terms avoid intermarriage. So there's humans, then there's the Mwangi sub-heritage, then there's 4 ethnicities of Mwangi, and then within the Mwangi 4 sub-ethnicities, there's the Zenj that have 2 more sub-ethnicities. I feel like I'm in fucking college right now. All of my bad dreams about Pathfinder are coming true. Jesus Christ. Okay. The Zenj are below average height, with slender muscular frames and wiry black hair. Simple clothing is made from animal hides and plant fibers. Many Zenj follow an ancient tradition of shamanism. There are tribes, including the Kalabuta, the Mula, the plains-dwelling Baso, the jungle-dwelling Ara, and Nagali. Among the Zenj, a long-throwing club called a Iwisa is used as a symbol of authority as well as a weapon. Jump in Jesus Christ. Okay. Alright. Just deleting my childhood memories real quick to make room for all this new data. Alright, so who the hell are the Vudrani? Let's find out who the Vudrani are. They also hang out in this region. Alright. The Vudrani Vudrani are a human ethnicity originally from the nation of Vudra, in faraway Kasmaran, known collectively as the Impossible Kingdoms. Hey, it's the Impossible Lands now, baby! In the Inner Sea region, they are most commonly found on the island state of Jalmare, as well as around the southeastern portion of the Inner Sea, and Obari Ocean, notably in Absalom, the biggest city in the world, Nex, Osirian, and Katapesh. Okay. Vudrani tend to be of darker complexion and have dark hair and eyes. Men often wear long and complicated beards. Vudrani apparel is often brightly colored and loose-fitting. Silks and other fine fabrics from Tianji, I guess we'll check that out. Well, I'll figure out how to pronounce it at least. Are prized. Saris and headscarves are common among Vudrani women, who also decorate their foreheads with spots of brightly colored paint or jewels. Only the highest caste men, see the complicated caste system below, wear anything but functional, a bit bright colored clothing, kilts, pants, and simple shirts. The male rulers of Vudra are known for their extravagant jewels and golden adornments. Both genders are fond of piercings and colorful makeup. They've been around for 50,000 years, which is quite impressive. The Vudrani believe in personal betterment and enlightenment within the strict confinement of their culture. Sounds a little Oresian, maybe, but also have a reputation for being consummate exaggerators and embellishers. Never mind. A trait that would make them unbearable were it not for their frequent good cheer and charisma. Even though they come from a rich and vibrant culture, Vudrani have a love of exploration, be it for trade, conquest, or simple curiosity. They have spread to nearly every continent on Galarian. They appreciate eloquent speech and movement. Like a Vudrani can be equally entranced by a graceful dancer or a gifted speaker. They have a complicated caste system that we're not going to go into. There's religion, there's stuff that they like to eat, their festivals, they're really into martial arts. Wow. Okay. Oh, hold on. Within the sub-ethnicity of Vudrani, there are 3 more sub-ethnicities. The Vudrani Dalvala, the Vudrani Parbatke, and the Vudrani Banjare. Is everyone writing this down? I hope you're memorizing this. There will be a fucking test, okay? Do you understand? There'll be a fucking test on this material. So, I hope you're paying attention. Alright, let's see. I hope there's not a test, because I'm going to fucking fail. Alright, so let's look at some of these languages that popped up. Alright, Tien is the common language of people from Imperial Lungwa. It is so prevalent that it is often referred to as common in that part of the world. That makes sense that there be more than one common. Taldane is the most widely spoken language in Avestan and Garund. I see. In the lands of the Linorm kings. Oh, that's Scald. My bad, I was reading the wrong thing. It is a trade language which takes its alphabet from ancient Jiska and its numerals from Kelish. Most of the terms and grammar are based on ancient Aslanti, though Taldane also borrows from Varishian. Of course it does. It is thought to be one of the oldest human languages still spoken in the Inner Sea region, and certainly the most widely spoken. Many localities in Avestan have their own particular slang words or phrases, and the most well-known of these is the Corvosan slang. Wow. Okay. Nice. Alright. So let's see. Living in these impossible lands, we also have all of these other places. Let's scroll down and see what else is going on here. So this is the world, the impossible land. And this purchase from their website included a poster map. Let's open this poster map up. Hot damn. That's okay. That's a big map. Oh, baby. Alright. Where's Alkenstar? It's down here somewhere? Jesus Christ. Okay, hold on. Alright, let's boot up Photoshop. I'm not in your classes, you can't test me? Alright, that's fair, I guess. I bet you do pretty good, though, honestly. We got so many smart people on our server, it's crazy. Let's see. Boop, 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 boop. Go here. Let me move this off to the side. Alright. Trying so hard to find this this information here. What if I just drag this over? What? What? I have to have a password. I paid for this. I should be able to edit it as much as I want. Are you serious? Oh my god. Babies. Now I gotta hack a fucking PDF. Not that I would ever do that, but alright, let's see. I'll just add that to my list of things I have to fucking do now. Let's see. What? How did I get this? This is crazy. Alright, let's see. Alright, so this is the region down here. Doesn't really look like much without the labels, though. So I'll go back to here. Why give me these cool maps if I can't just do whatever I want with them? I feel somewhat betrayed. Like a little bit betrayed. That I can't just do whatever I want with this map. Let's see. Well, I know it's in the bottom right, but like, I don't know. Also, how did the eye of a Bedengo end up all the way over there? Oh, is this where the Shackles is now? Shit, okay. I missed you, Shackles. I miss you. Maybe we'll get together again someday. We'll see. Man, right in the feels, seeing Shackles on the map. Ah, alright. So this is far away from the Shackles. Alright, let's see. Zoom out a little bit. I'm just trying to get a sense of like what would make for a cool like map to have the players have access to, you know? Like what does the world look like to us? I think this kind of sums it up pretty well. You got Alkenstar down here, and then you got the other areas around it. So we will go ahead and just grab all of this. There we go. And this will make a beautiful handout in our game. Alright, so I'm going to drag this in a little bit. There we go. So we can have a little bit of a drop shadow there around it. Let's see. Do a drop shadow and a basic bitch bevel just to kind of pop it up a little bit. Let's see if we got parchment we could use. So, map parchment texture. Yes, this is who I am. Sorry. I have to log into my photo account. Alright. Map parchment texture. There we go. Oh, if you're wondering, I'm over on this site called FreePick, and I have a paid account for it, and I'm basically looking for like a cool texture to throw onto this map. I think this will be really cool. So I'm gonna download just the honkin' biggest one they got. It's fucking 30 megs big. It's so high res. We're gonna open this up. There we go. And paste this down. We gotta shrink it a little bit. There we go. Drag this over to the edge. Drag this down to the edge. There we go. And we could do... what would look good here? I don't want to, like, blast out the colors, but I would like to still keep sort of the feel. I bet we could do a multiply, but I'll desaturate it. Let's see. Ooh, okay. So that's getting a pretty cool look. Auto contrast. Now it's too dark, so we'll lower the opacity. I just want there to be like some texture on the map, so it doesn't look like we just clipped it right out of a PDF. Yeah, that works pretty good. So if we wanted to, I have like torn paper like that we could do for the edges. We could just like cut our own like missing pieces here if we wanted to, like something like this. Hold on. We'd have to delete from both. What a hassle. There we go. Yeah, so like you could go and like just kind of cut, you know, some messy like chunks out, essentially, like that if you wanted to. Sort of give it a bit more of like a torn effect. Might be kind of neat. I don't know. Let's see. I don't really need the map to be too... We don't want it to be too dirty. So another thing we could look for would be like a soot stain. So we could do soot stain. Nice. That's a nice soot stain right there. Alright. So I just plop that shit down, and then we do that as a multiply. And then you got a soot stain. And you want to put that on like the least important part of the map, obviously. So let's see. What would be the least important part of the map? Probably out here in the ocean. Yeah. So we could dirty it up a little bit, like so. Nice. And then we could probably drop another one and bring it over to the side here. There we go. And do multiply on that. Maybe lighten that one up just a little bit. There we go. And there. See? Now we got a cool handout. So we would probably want to chop it up a little bit more since we added some tears already. So we could do like a tear right here, and then have a tear kind of come down from the top here. And maybe a nice big tear up here. There we go. There. So we have this like somewhat torn up, somewhat dirtied map that we could use, and it's pretty neat. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and save this out for later, since this is the region we're dealing with. Then if we have like that scene where they're like, oh no, do you know how important this is? This is really important because the nation of Nex and the nation of Geb, and if they go to war, we're right in the middle. And then you could draw all over it with the markers, and then it's like they're having like a war room meeting, and they're explaining like why it's so important that we need to take care of this shit. So kind of immersive, kind of a cool idea, I think. Anyways, so I'll do Outlaws of Alkenstar regional map expanded. Excellent. Alright, let's get back to work. I mean, we never stopped working, but... Alright. Going back to the PDF. Excuse me. right, what else you got going on in the Impossible Lands? Here's the timeline of the Impossible Lands. Jump in, Jesus. All right, so allegedly, this campaign is starting in... Oh, man. What year is this? What is the modern year? 719, as Ronnie abandons Geb. I looked this up online to tell me when the adventure actually starts. So it says 4710 is when this actually took place. So I guess this happens before the gates of the Refuge of Nex once again open in Quantium, stoking rumors regarding the Archmaid's imminent return. A grand disqualification of all the houses of perfection leaves the challenge of the sky and heaven incomplete. As Ronnie abandons Geb, leading the Ghost Necromancer to return to active management of his undead realm. An accurate map. Oof. That is a... I heard there's one in Castle Ravenloft. Hashtag spoilers. Could just go pick one up, I guess. Let's see. Man, I don't want to read a whole fucking history book. Alright, let's do it. Let's fucking do it. Alright. I'm just reading the cliff notes here. So, in the Impossible Lands, which make up Nex, Mana Waste, Alkenstar, Grey Dirge, the Gunworks, Mechatar. Mechatar sounds dope. It's where the Transformers live, I think. Alright. Negative 3,000 AR. Don't know what that means. Osirian reaches the height of its prosperity under the reign of the God Kings. A union of 4 God Kings, known as the 4 Pharaohs of Ascension, reigned during the Second Age of the Osirian's empire. Sounds like a good plan. Osirian cedes control of its southernmost colony to the necromancer Geb. Okay, good for you, Geb. The nations of Nex and Geb go to war. That's at negative 892 these assholes went to war. Geb's mystics blight the landscape of Nex, rendering all but the kingdom's cities virtually uninhabitable. Oh. That's unfortunate. The Archmage Nex unsuccessfully launches a siege against Absalom. That's a bad idea. Erecting the mile-tall Spire of Nex in the Cairn lands. Cairn. Shit. Hold on. I hope that these prep sessions show you that even an uneducated buffoon can try to be a dungeon master. How pronounce... Help me out, robot.
Cairn.
Cairn. Okay, the Cairn lands. Nex assumes control of the Isle of Jalmaray. Kiben Sald, the legendary Maharaja of Vudra, spends a decade on the island of Jalmaray, bringing Vudrani culture to the Inner Sea. Okay. Then, we're in the present day now, in case I didn't mention. Nex assumes control of the Isle of Jalmaray. Uh-oh. No, wait, Nex is the good guys. Kiben Sald, the legendary Maharaj of Vudra, spends a decade on the island bringing the culture. Oh, we already had that. Nex vanishes from his capital in Quantium during a Gebite attack that kills thousands of people. These guys really loved themselves a lot. They named everything after themselves. Nex founded the nation of Nex. He had Nexite people living at the Nexus. They drove Nex cars. They had Nex watches. They fought Geb and the Gebites from the nation of Geb. They used Geb magic and wielded Geb swords. I get it. No wonder they hated each other. They're like two sides of the same coin. Let's see. A despairing Geb. Why are you despairing? Like, less than 50 years ago, you killed thousands of people. Alright. A despairing Geb attempts to escape Golarion in an act of ritual suicide. Buddy, how bad was it? But soon he returns as a ghost. Tough break. Vudrani Rahaz wrest control of Jalmaray from the decadent Archlords of Nex. Okay. Phew. Alright. Geb abducts, Geb who is a ghost now, by the way, Arasni's corpse from the Knights of Ozum, reanimates her as a lich, which seems problematic, forces her to become his queen, also problematic. Sounds like some Divinity Original Sin 2 shit, if I'm being honest. Geb petrifies the invading army of the Pirate Queen, Mastrian Slash. That's a fucking cool name for a Pirate Queen. Creating the Field of Maidens. Why did you guys leave the boat? Well, whatever. Oh, here we are. This is us. Here's our stop, boys. 4588 AR. Again, no idea what AR stands for. Alkenstar, who is also a person, fleeing persecution from Nex, enters the Mana Waste and discovers the ruins of Dongon. Sorry, I hate this word. Dongun Hold. In 4601, the Duchy of Alkenstar is founded. Construction of the gunworks begins. The gunworks of Alkenstar are completed. The first firearms begin emerging from Alkenstar to be purchased by rich collectors and curious scholars. Hell yeah. Much to my friend Larionis's great sorrow. Okay. Let's see. The Gorilla King of the city of Usaro in the Mwangi Expanse, I must know, we gotta pause our history lesson. Is the Gorilla King an actual gorilla? Let's find out. Alright, Gorilla King. Don't disappoint me. Hell yes! Ah, oh, so cool! The Gorilla King, or Silverback King, was the title of the feral monarch of the city of Usaro. Oh shit, what's an Usaro? Is that a woke ape? Was Skull and Shackles? Like, did we actually run it, like, lore accurate? No, we didn't. This is incredible. It is believed that since the founding of the city many centuries ago, the king has always been a gorilla, magically awakened into sentience to become the most honored of Angazan's servants in Golarion. Until that also sounds problematic. You can't just make a gorilla your king, like, without his permission. That just seems wrong. Until 40, I'm so babied by 5th edition. I can't. All this problematic content is really scandalizing me. You guys know that I don't, I don't often explore these mature themes. So this is like, whew. I'm gonna need an adult pretty soon. Let's see. So a human can have the title, but it's usually the Gorilla King. Okay. Okay. So what's an Usaro? The majority, Charaka city of Usaro is the former domain of the Gorilla King, who served Angazan, Demon Lord of Beast, which I guess he's like friends with Baphomet, the real Demon Lord of Beast. Sorry, Pathfinder, I keep saying that. It's the real Demon King. It is located on the Blood River. Checks out for a demon-worshipping gorilla gang. Flows into the southern shore of Lake Okata. Its inhabitants are feared throughout the Mwangi Expanse, and the former king's treasure vaults are reputed to contain priceless riches, including the mighty Bombard Worldbreaker. What? What the fuck is the Worldbreaker? But the ominous sound of human skin drums. I can always tell when I'm listening to drums if they used human skin, so that checks out. Carrying across the lake, Detours all but the bravest and most foolhardy treasure hunters. Well, have I got some one-shots planned now. The Worldbreaker is a massive magical siege engine used by Taldor's 5th and 6th armies of exploration in their wars of conquest during the 21st and 22nd century AR. Hey, we could finally find out what fucking AR stands for. Absalon Reckoning. Absalon Reckoning, or AR for short, is the most commonly used calendar in Avestan and Garund, and possibly all of Golarion. Is that what we're using? I don't want to be yeah, okay, we're using the right calendar. Alright. I don't want to use the wrong calendar. That would be embarrassing. I don't want the one player, Josh, who's read the lore, to call me out on it, while the other 9 just enjoy themselves. Let's see. Absalon Reckoning takes its origin from the moment the god Arodin, don't know who the fuck that is, lifted the Star Stone, don't know what the fuck that is, from the depths of the inner sea, I do know what that is, and founded the city of Absalom. An event dated... Oh, are we already on another music? Nah, we're still on the same music. Okay. The event also ushered in the Age of Enthronement, in which human natures began to be founded in the Inner Sea region, inspired by Arodin's example. The calendar consists of days, weeks, months, and seasons. Of course it fucking does. Each week has 7 days. Each year has 52 weeks. A year is divided into 12 months, although once every 4 years an extra day is added. Fuck you guys. I don't play fantasy games so I can still deal with leap years. Oh my fucking god. Days of the week. Although most days of the week are assigned for work, a few also have other meanings. Moon Day... Give me a fucking break. Generally a work day with some religious holding ceremonies at night. Toil Day, a work day. Wield Day. Oath Day. This is a good day to sign contracts and oaths. Fire Day. It's not Friday though. A work day that is most often the market day. Star Day. A work day. Sunday. Well, we couldn't disguise that one. Generally a day of rest and one devoted to religious observances. Alright. Woof. Oh my god. They just have it's the same it's the Earth calendar. They got 30 days, 31 days, they got 28 days in fucking February. Wah. Alright, that's fine. That keeps it simple. How many moons you assholes have? Lunar calendar. Just as Absalom reckoning is based on Galarian's orbit around its sun, some people and cultures use a lunar calendar that dates times using the phases of the moon, where each full moon is given its own name. But we're not... Oh no, I'm sure there is a whole section that goes into the details of that. There's also the imperial calendar. Absalom reckoning is nobody's only way of counting time on Galarian. It sure is for me. It sure is for me. On the continent of Tianxi, the most common dating method is known as the imperial calendar, which began at the founding of, I'm so sorry, I just can't, Yixing? Yixing? As this happened exactly 2,500 years before year 1 of Absalom reckoning. Converting the dates is so easy! Is it? Do they use the same days of the week? Do they have a oath day on their calendar? Come on, guys. Wow. Alright, so what's an Arodin? Arodin was the immortal Aslanti human who raised the Starstone from the bottom of the sea in 1 AR, founding the city of Absalom, became the patron deity of humanity. He was once prophesied to lead humanity into an age of glory, but on the day of his supposed return, he apparently died of mysterious causes, catapulting Galarian into an uncertain future, and the Age of Lost Omens. Oh, that's a good name for it, because your prophecy didn't come true. There he is. He's late for work, just like Jesus. Alright. Damn. Wow, that's a lot. Oh, man. There's a lot of information about this guy. Alright, so you pulled the Starstone. That's cool. The Starstone is a unique gemstone meteorite that was part of a massive meteoroid which shattered and struck Galarian in negative 5293. Again, I hope you're taking notes. I hope you're taking notes. This event, known as Earthfall, caused the destruction of many ancient empires, including the Aslant, Thassalon, Coloran, and Ninshabur. It also created the Inner Sea, and it ushered in the Age of Darkness. Checks out. The Aslanti Empire was the first known human civilization on the face of Galarian, raised from barbarianism by the alien... Jesus Christ. No, it wasn't the alien Jesus Christ. It was the alien Algathaluta. Jeez. Alright. Alguthus. Okay. So, Alguthus is exactly what he looks like, if you are familiar with Dungeons & Dragons. He is an aboleth. So apparently, Aboleth made civilized human beings in Galarian. I don't know why we need to know this, but now we do, and we'll never forget. All right, and that's all we're gonna do there. I'm sorry, Gorilla King led to the spawn of the human race somehow. I hate fucking lore. All right, so anyways, the gates of the Refuge of Nex once again open in Quantium. All right, so we're caught up now. We're caught up because this adventure allegedly takes place before this event right here. Okay, cool. All right, Alkenstar. The arcane wars between Nex and Geb were not kind to the surrounding regions. You don't say. Often reducing their captured territories to a blasted wasteland where warped radiation prevented all magic from functioning. The nation of Alkenstar arose in such a place beneath the shadow of Dongun. I'm going to struggle with this one. Dongun Hold, a dwarven sky citadel sealed by its former occupants to prevent it from becoming a prize handed back and forth between the two warring powers. Though the dwarves had abandoned their fortress more than 1,000 years earlier, the surrounding ruins became a haven for a ragtag settlement for refugees and vagabonds. When a renegade engineer named Alkenstar fled from Nex to avoid criminal charges, he discovered the shattered ruins of Dongun Hold and used his technology to fortify the settlement, bring agriculture to its nearby plains, and transform the powerful Ustrati River into a literal engine of creation. Not bad. Not bad for an artificer. ... Not content to simply live in the shadow of the mighty Dongun Hold, Alkenstar devised an ingenious method to open the Dwarven Sky Citadel, called the Knock Spell from 5th edition D&D, and explore its many mysteries. He and his followers eventually tracked down the missing dwarves themselves, who now resided in an isolated vault deep in the Darklands, problematic, where the practice of magic had died. A bargain between Alkenstar and the dwarves provided the fledgling city with a dwarven innovation perfected during the dwarves' time in the vault and destined to change the course of history forever. This invention is called fucking guns. These weapons ensured that the refugees would never again be caught defenseless in the battles between Nex and Geb. I almost feel like I should couch like there should be like a fucking history lesson at some point, like for each of the campaigns, where we tell them like this is the history of the world. But I don't want to put them to sleep, you know what I'm saying? So we're gonna have to like ham fist this shit in somehow, so that they get a better appreciation for like the involvement of Nex and Geb and why this is such a big deal. So we gotta sneak it in there. We gotta get like a history character to kind of sneak it in there. Not every game's lucky enough to have a SIBO. But if we identify a SIBO, we're definitely going to swip this in there. All right. Let's see. Oh, yes. Fucking guns. There we go. These weapons ensured that the refugees would never again be caught defenseless in the battles between Nex and Geb, because unlike 5th edition firearms, Pathfinder firearms are very strong. And over the last century, the Grand Duchy of Alkenstar has grown into a powerful, if isolated, kingdom in its own right. It is important that you understand that this is not a howdy cowboy time adventure. It is cowboys, but it's also has its own deep and rich history and culture that we are learning about right now. See how it's just like, maybe I should have done this before I posted the ad for the game that was like, howdy cowboy time? Yeah. So while Nex still claims the settlement as a nominal vassal, problematic, since its armies were the last to claim Dongun Hold in the Age of Destiny before the Dwarves' retreat, no one takes this claim seriously outside the governmental halls of Quantium, which, by the way, we have learned is in Nex, so the Nex people could go fuck themselves, essentially. Alkenstar currently operates as an independent city-state with holdings that include Dongun Hold and the town of Martel, which we played a one-shot that took place in Martel, I think. The city of Alkenstar itself stands atop the Hellfallen Cliffs, overlooking a narrow valley where the Ustrati River plunges hundreds of feet over the massive Alken Falls on its journey into Nex. A layer of soot covers most of Alkenstar's brick and iron buildings, but elegant brass decorations shining through the grime hint at the grand architecture beneath. Voluminous clouds of steam hang over the city and sometimes cover its streets, mixing with the thick fog banks drifting off the Ustrati and the acrid black smoke churning from the city's omnipresent factories. At the southeastern shore of Lake Ustrati sits a massive castle called the Gunworks, where metallurgists and engineers of Alkenstar labor to develop firearms technology. The proudest achievement is a massive cannon known as the Big Dick. No, wait. That's almost, sorry, I read that wrong. The proudest achievement is a massive cannon known as the Great Maw of Ravagug, which translates, an enormous bombard with a range measured in miles. Jesus Christ. It is often... Wow. It is often used against the mutated giants, oh my goodness, of the Mana Waste, who raid the city every summer. Oh my goodness. What the fuck? Okay. It's just, just kaiju. We just have a kaiju killing cannon that we have to use every summer. No big deal. That's just life in cowboy land. Just life in cowboy land. It actually kind of has some elements that are similar to that Nimona. I don't know if you guys saw Nimona. It came out on Netflix. It's a very good movie. But it has sort of a sci-fantasy... Well, it's a sci-fantasy setting. And they have a giant kaiju killing cannon. I'm not going to tell you anything else about it. But if you've seen the movie, I think you know exactly what I'm talking about. And so, yeah, nice. All right. Let's see. Wow. Yeah, right? Like, how bad is Nex and Geb that people are like, it's going to be a hot summer. I can see 3 kaiju already scheduled an attack on the city. Well, beats being in Geb, don't it? And then the skeleton he's talking to is like, I'll drink to that. And he just downs his goat milk, like, slams it, because he just remembers his life in the Geb military. He's like, I ain't going back there. I also feel like, I don't think it's mentioned in the adventure, but I feel like there would be a lot of undead that would live in Alkenstar, because they would also be kind of like refugees, right? That don't want to be slaves to Geb. I feel like undead would come to Alkenstar to get away from like slavery, essentially, right? So I don't know. I think that's a cool angle that I'm gonna kind of put in there, especially since one of my groups does have a skeleton player character. All right. The inventiveness that raised Alkenstar into a nation now permeates the attitudes of the country's residents, and its technological innovations keep it economically and politically relevant despite its seemingly precarious position. The city's famous clockwork sentries are only the most visible of Alkenstar's wonders. Guilds of enterprising metallurgists, alchemists, and engineers collaborate or compete to produce increasingly extraordinary discoveries. Alkenstar's status as a haven from the prying eyes of Nex and Geb has also attracted refugees, we were just talking about that, and immigrants in a flow that rivals the mighty Ustrati itself, swelling the city's population and spreading knowledge and political philosophies in their wake. Oh, really? Oh. But there would still be a lot of undead here, right? Because there are undead in Geb, and it just said that people that don't like Geb and they don't like Nex come here. So I would assume there's that. Let's see. The city's government, blah, 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 blah. Alright. Yet, this rampant growth carries a price. In exchange for Alkenstar's nigh miraculous ascension into global power, though the nation's high parliament and elite police do an admirable job enforcing law and order, Alkenstar remains a frontier boomtown in a harsh and hostile land. The city's government and industries are convoluted and disordered, riddled with flaws and redundancies. Industries, and redundancies that have cropped up As organizational needs outstrip bureaucratic capacity, corruption and rivalries abound between clans, guilds, families, factions, struggling to increase their own influence within the nation. Common folk rarely see the benefits of the city's industry, left behind by the rapid march of progress to eke out hard, short-lived lives within the heavy smog from the workshops. Thank goodness that's not happening in modern-day America. Oof. Crime plagues the nation's outcast, orphans, and poor, especially preying on the financial insecurities of desperate refugees from other nations. Firearm and siege engine production has vastly increased over the last decade, thanks in no small part to the leadership of Grand Duchess Trietta Riccia. Riccia? Probably need to figure out how to pronounce it. Who is both a canny politician and a scientist in her own right. Guns, already popular among smugglers and revolutionaries in the Mwangi Expanse and the Shackles, have begun to trickle into northern Garund as well. Riccia urges greater contact with the outside world by exporting Alkenstar's fabulous creations far and wide, drawing even more customers, vagabonds, and would-be technologists to the city-state, despite the considerable dangers of the journey. Okay, so it sounds like Alkenstar is fucking dope. That's what it sounds like. I'm glad we're running a campaign there. Alright, so let's see. Other areas that we want to know about. What's this first one that they try to tell us about? It's probably just an intro to the whole region. Okay. Let's skip down. Let me make sure that we're still logged in case we have to do anything to the world. What? Okay. Let's see. Oh, this is her. I did not picture the Duchess looking like a dope steampunk cowboy. That's cool. The popular scientist Duchess of Alkenstar honed her zeal for invention and cheerful demeanor while studying the notes of the city's founder. That's cool. Alright, so let's go on with Geb. 300 years after the fall of Osirian's famed four pharaohs of ascension, the pious tyrant Khenaton brought a semblance of stability to the declining empire, scouring Osirian of enemies and renewing the empire's grasp on distant territorial holdings. Rather than vanish across the horizon into eternal exile, the wicked necromancer Geb came to Osirian's southernmost colony, conquered it, and granted it his name. Oh, what a sport. Remaking it in his own necrotic image. Decades after his rise to power, Geb came into conflict with the Archmage Nex, another dude who liked to name things after himself, who had united a nation on the plains north of the Necromancer's kingdom, cutting off land across the markets of the Golden Road. You didn't. By negative 892 AR, the territorial ambitions of both Nex and Geb erupted into catastrophic open conflict that would span centuries. Baby, it's like eons at this point, because I'm still dealing with this shit in the year 4710. Yikes. The war reached a terrible climax when Geb blighted the lands of Nex, starving its people and bringing it to the brink of utter defeat. Nex responded by unleashing a series of magical cataclysms that killed uncountable thousands of Geb citizens. Anguished at the scope of the devastation, Geb animated all of the slain as a vast undead army, which he immediately sent marching north. In 576 AR, after nearly a millennium of mutually destructive warfare, Geb's undead armies made a final grand push towards Quantium, reaching the walls of Nex's palace and Bandashar. Poisonous yellow smoke choked the Archmage's capital, killing thousands, but Nex himself apparently escaped into a demiplane known as the Refuge of Nex. Of course it is. Everything is of Nex when it comes to this man. Never to return, because he's a baby. Despite his apparent victory, Geb remained convinced that his old foe had somehow survived, and he lived the next several decades in bitter resentment, futilely waiting for Nex to come play with him again. Nex's household servants, the so-called Archlords of Nex, also proved frustrating and resilient, repelling numerous attacks on the Bandashar, designed to seal Nex away for eternity. Finally, in 632, Geb's torment grew too strong to bear. He missed his boyfriend Nex so much, he tried to kill himself. But he turned into a ghost instead. Such is life. Wow. Honestly, this stuff is just crazy. Let's see. Let me find some music to listen to. Hmm. Okay. Man. Thereafter, Gebite society gave itself wholly to necromancy. Thousands of Geb's most fanatical followers killed themselves on purpose to bind their undead souls in service to their ghostly sovereign. Sounds like the political scene in America right now. Swearing eternal fealty in the ultimate act of obedience. Today, more than 4,000 years later, the undead make up Gebite society, and most mortals in the kingdom are either slaves or food. Ah, there we go, Darby. I'm caught up now. I'm caught up. Wow. I can't believe it. Alright, let's see. I guess people will be fleeing the undead then. Only like the really good undead would have any reason to flee. Or like, I don't know. I guess like enterprising undead might leave. But yeah, if they've got it so good, I don't know why they'd leave. Um, a complex corpus of legal documents known as the Dead Laws protect the rights of Geb's mortals and intelligent undead by regulating the feeding of ravenous undead. Oh, that's good to know. Proscribing certain aspects of necromancy, outlawing the channeling of positive energy, and dictating the proper treatment and maintenance of slaves, both living and dead. These rules nominally protect the living, referred to as the quick in the language of the Dead Laws, from random attacks by hungry dead. But Geb's ghoulish low nobility, along with certain insatiable vampires, consider themselves exempt, often risking legal persecution and permanent death to satiate their gluttonous cravings. By royal decree, unless specified otherwise, all mortals who die upon Geb's soils are reanimated as mindless undead to serve as slaves in the nation's lush fields or lavish urban mansions. Mortals with business in Geb often arrange to become intelligent undead uh, upon death to avoid this fate. Most mortals avoid going to Geb whatsoever because this sounds pretty fucked over there. Mortal necromancers are an exception, largely because they're the only ones who know how to protect themselves from the depravities of Geb's nobility. The most puissant? No, that doesn't sound right. Hold on. Alright, let me try again. Alright, I'll spell it. Puissant. Please type the words. Nope. Alright, here we go.
Puissant.
Puissant? That's... Okay. Well, now I know. The most puissant and ambitious. What does puissant mean? Strong and powerful. Why wouldn't you just say strong and powerful? Give the French back their words. Whatever. Okay. Largely because they're the most puissant and ambitious. Hey, listen, never call me puissant, or I'll punch you in the fucking face. The most puissant and ambitious necromancers of Geb joined the ranks of the Bloodlords. 60 personal apprentices of Geb that he trained himself in the capital of Mekatar, so that's not where the Transformers live, and tasked them with administering the daily affairs of the kingdom. Once exclusively mortal, the Bloodlords are now overwhelmingly undead, and their numbers include vampires, wraiths, mummy, shades, and liches. Geb doesn't invite conflict with other nations, despite the brazen attacks so often made against it by would-be heroes hoping to destroy the Undead Kingdom. Tensions with Nex cooled once its leader fled Golarion, and zombie-harvested crops sent north are among the nation's most prosperous exports. Problematic! Geb's undead ruling class doesn't age, so they can afford to play the long game and be patient, weaving political plots that span centuries and which delve far more deeply into the international politics of the inner sea region than anyone realizes. In recent centuries, Geb had largely withdrawn from the daily affairs of his kingdom, leaving its management in the capable hands of his imprisoned Lich Queen, Arazni, a former herald of Erodin cruelly raised from death by Geb in retribution for repeated attacks by the paladins of Lastwall. Arazni ruled the nation for centuries before escaping Geb and his kingdom in recent years. With Arazni gone and the king more certain than ever of Nex's imminent return, Geb has returned to active rulership of his kingdom. The morbid avenues of Mekatar throng with skeletal celebrants in public processions honoring Geb's renaissance, and the ghost sovereign's agents in the outside world are known to be gathering rare ingredients for what appears to be a series of obscene necromantic rituals carried out on a massive ceremonial scale. Far from the melancholic recluse who sought a solution in suicide, Geb today prepares himself and his undying kingdom for a grand destiny. What a turnaround. What a comeback story. He went from being suicidally depressed about not being able to fight with his boyfriend anymore to now he's a mover and shaker in the world. You too can find purpose on life, apparently, is the takeaway here. Yikes. You love French words? Oh, man. Well, I don't. Let's see. You would pick Geb over Nex? Alright, let's find out why Darby would pick Geb over Nex. How bad are things going over there? Let's see. Mana waste. We're going to come back for you, baby. We're going to come back for you. Alright. There we go. Nex. The Archmage Nex, an avid arcanist, determined to make his mark in a world newly filled with opportunity, arose in the centuries following Osirian's withdrawal from its imperial holdings in eastern Garund. Fueled by the kind of ambition that gave the Age of Destiny its name. That would be Pathfinder 1st Edition, I think. Next, perfected his arcane craft to gain dominion over the powerful city-state of Quantium. Located at the mouth of the mighty Ustrati River, from this seat of power, Nex swiftly subjugated the neighboring cities of Icanus and Onipian, gathering his conquered realm into a new kingdom bearing his name, like an asshole. Over the following centuries, Nex traveled the world and the great beyond. Alright, what the fuck's the great beyond? Alright. The great beyond is a term that encompasses... It's the multiverse. Okay, just fucking call it the... Alright, whatever. Establishing important theories of magic that remain foundational, okay, to this day. He funneled the treasures claimed during his adventures back into his kingdom, training hundreds of eager wizards in the secrets of the arcane discoveries he plundered from other worlds. He must be so upset about the state of magic in 2nd edition Pathfinder now. He's got to be so pissed about that. He used wish-level magics to improve his kingdom and protect it from harm. Hope he didn't use 2nd edition wish magics, because he would have had to make some real big skill checks to get anything good to happen. Confident in his successes, he continued to march his construct armies further south to the lush farmlands of an abandoned Osirian farming colony, now the domain of the necromancer lord Geb. Whew. Alright. He's just throwing a random fucking feat in here? There's just a random fucking feat in the sidebar? This is wild. The resulting relentless warfare between Nex and Geb spans centuries, so he finally picked the wrong person to fuck around to find out with each wizard extending his life and attempting to destroy the other through a series of increasingly catastrophic magical attacks. In one such escalation, Geb and his grim devotees conducted rituals that corrupted the rural lands of Nex, denuding... I'm sorry, guys. I barely finished, like, a formal education. I don't know what any of these fucking words mean. Denuding? What?
Denuding.
Denuding. Okay. What does it mean? Let's see. Definition in English. Uncover, bare, denude, unbear, crop out. I guess it just means, like, deforested? Killed all the plants? Removal of covering. Bearing, husking, stripping, uncovering. Deforestation. There we go. I'm just too dumb for this world, man. I got to go back to 5e for the tabletop for, you know, the 5th grade reading level. The Wizards of Nex erected magical barriers to protect the cities, but the landscape beyond the city walls was reduced to wasteland. The ancient curses persist to this day, one of the worst of the many scars inflicted upon the world in the Wizards' millennium-long conflict. Let's see. I do have a pocket character I'm waiting to play who's an escaped Nex flesh warp. I just need a group who's okay with me weaponizing my innards. I see. I will continue. The ancient curses persist to this day. One of the worst of many scars, blah, blah, blah. Ironically, destruction of the vast majority of his kingdom left Nex with more time to study and perfect his craft. Oh, well, that's nice. He finally achieved true immortality when he created a personal demiplane at a flux point of multiversal energy. Of course! That's all he had to do. A domain of near limitless power he calls the Crux of Nex. Nex carved off a shard of the Crux to create the mile-tall Spire of Nex outside Absalom, as well as the so-called Refuge of Nex. I hate this fucking guy so much. A supernatural haven he constructed in the basement dungeons of his personal palace, the Bandishar. This campaign setting is wild. The Crux joined the Refuge and Spire into a vast yet connected multi-dimensional complex. And in 5, 6, 7 AR, with a Gebite army at Quantium's gates and vaporous banks of poison gas seeping through its streets, Nex retreated into the Refuge like a baby, never to be seen again. In the centuries since, the rule of the nation has fallen to a succession of factions that purport to represent the departed Archmage's plan for the subjects and projects he left behind. The contentious Council of 3 and 9 attempts to maintain consensus between Nex's squabbling sects and has managed to keep Nex unconquered since the day its founder vanished. Open warfare with Geb decreased in the centuries following Nex's departure, and today the two nations maintain an uneasy standstill in their hostilities. The Archlords of Nex, descendants of the Wizard's apprentices and household servants who purport to possess his personal writings and thus best understand his desires, claim that Nex would be appalled at the state of peace with his hated undead foe, pointing to the recent reopening of the magical gates to the Refuge of Nex as a sure sign that the old conflict is about to reignite. See, this is the part we need for this adventure, because that's the real plot of this adventure, is that this super explosive, the super weapon, it's going to be sold to both nations. That's the big thing of the adventure, is both these nations. So we need to understand why that fucking matters. I already know now why it matters, because both nations were founded by and are full of assholes. So that's why we have to make sure that they don't get it. Yeah. You go to Nex and they're like, "Oh man, where'd you get those shoes?" They're like, "What are you talking about?" And they're like, "The shoes." They're like, "No, those are my Nex feet." Where did I get? I got my Nex feet from the Nex cobbler. You got to head down Nex Street onto Nex Avenue, and then the next store you see, that should be the Nex cobbler. He'll hook you up with some Nex feet. Yeah. Slippers of Nex. That kind of acknowledges that slippers exist and that Nex just didn't invent everything altogether. Oh, man. Nex's capital, Quantium, is a cosmopolitan metropolis with nearly 80,000 souls, not all of them mortal, monumental palaces, cloud-piercing spires, teeming streets filled with all manners of humans, joined by creatures that would be considered monsters elsewhere in Galarian. The Council of Three and Nine rules from Bandashar, and nervousness about what many interpret to be the imminent return of Nex himself is causing a significant political rift in the council that seem to be on the verge of oh my god, metastasizing. Okay. Oh, what's your metastasizing? Metastasizing, to spread from one part of the body to another, like cancer. Okay. I feel so bad because, like, this is a game for really smart, well-educated, English-speaking people, and I just feel like an outsider trying to, like, understand their world. Like, even the writing itself makes me feel like I don't belong here because I'm too dumb. That's my review of the product. It's too well written. That's my take on it. Let's see. Quantumanium is 80,000 souls. Blah 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 blah. Blah 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 blah. Nex himself is causing significant political rifts in the council that seem on the verge of metastasizing into a war of subterfuge, and that's why they're okay with buying these deadly explosives. Um, Across the barren, outlaw-ravaged wasteland, the alchemists of Onipian toiled to create the eldritch elixirs and potions so important to the nation's economy. The squalid city claims an impressive golem works and an ooze colony that dominates a vast miasmatic lake at the center of town. A sentient hive mind useful for potent divinations and the disposal of faulty magic items, botched golems, and enemies of the state. That's fucking amazing. It's like the mother yeast of like all of the world's sourdough, like lives in the middle of this town. That's kind of how it feels, man. Like, I hope by now, Lex, you understand that I am a salt of the earth individual, right? I am eat dirt off the ground kind of guy, right? I these books are so highbrow that they're off-putting to me. They're off-putting to me. I don't know. Anyways, like there's so many cool ideas and there's like a lot of cool stuff here, but like it's just too fancy pants for me. Let's see. The Squalid Nation, Ooze Colony, blah blah blah. The sprawling, heavily fortified town of Acanis is the hub of Nexus' vast military. Battle mages train in warfare and tactical evocation form the backbone of the mobile force, reinforced by nightmarish beasts churned out by the city's monumental flesh forges. Which is fun. And then here are some custom backgrounds that you could take for being from this area. I should probably let my players know about these custom backgrounds. Yeah, okay. I mean, I'd prefer they take the ones from the adventure, but, you know, I'll throw these out just in case. Let's see. Grab these. There we go. I'll just post it in the Alkenstar Saloon. That way I don't have to post it in two different places. Let's see. Where the fuck are those at? Here we go. So these are regional backgrounds, which if you really don't vibe with any of the story path backgrounds, you might consider. All right. Oh man, I mean, I got a bachelor's of science, like I got a 4-year degree. I just I don't know. It wasn't easy. It wasn't easy. All right, so that's pretty cool. Then we got custom feats, which is pretty neat. And then that's the region. Okay, so let's go back and learn about mana wastes while we're here, and we got the book open. All right, the mana waste. The warped wasteland between Nex and Geb bears the indelible scars of 14 centuries, that's 1,400 years, of arcane conflict. In ancient days, the region was renowned for its natural beauty, which inspired breathtaking artworks from the dwarves of Dangun Hold. The dwarves ruled the land surrounding their sky citadel for centuries without any harassment by the god kings of Osirian or the petty tyrants who ruled in their ruined colonies. But when the Archmage Nex waged war with the Necromancer Geb, Dangun Hold found itself wedged between two implacable enemies. Minor skirmishes blossomed into clashes between vast armies, legions of constructs, potent summoned monsters, and ravenous undead. After centuries of shifting annexation by Geb or Nex, the dwarves of Dangun Hold withdrew into their sky citadel, collapsed the entrance to their imposing fortress, leaving their lands to be blasted into barren arcane ruins. From vast alchemical miasmas to the chaotic eldritch storms of the unquiet souls of annihilated armies, the mana waste swirl with unpredictable dangers seen nowhere else on Galarian. Rife with carnivorous plants, shattered glass sandstorms, and poisonous fog, the landscape itself seems singularly dedicated to destroying those who attempt to traverse or settle its tenacious wilderness. To the west, in a sprawling region of dead magic, the Grand Duchy of Alkenstar provides the mana waste's most secure sanctum, drawing not just traditional refugees, escaped slaves, and wanderers, but increasingly merchants, foreign diplomats, and dwarves seeking to reunite with their returned cousins at Dangun Hold. Those journeying to and from Alkenstar must endure not just the terrors of the mana waste's unnatural environment, but also the predations of the magic-warped monstrosities who call the place home. Rifle-toting mutants, spectral soldiers, murderously erratic constructs, and worse. Further west, the mana wastes sweep upwards from Alkenstar into the hills and mountains of the Western Ravage. Here, cloaked by the same energies that keep magic out of Alkenstar, dwell several tribes of mutated giants, ettins, and ogres, brutal creatures who make near annual summer raids on the city-state and engage in violent struggles with one another when not focused on a mutual enemy. After decades of suffering at the hands of those wielding Alkenstar's firearms, the giants of the Western Ravage now find it necessary to finally crack open Dangun Hold and plunder its wealth. Their raids on the gunworks have yielded dozens of long arms, scores of pistols, and several cannons, which the largest giants wield like rifles. That's fucking cool. In the end, the lowlands sprawl into a gnarled wasteland of jagged tors and rocky dunes called the Spell-Scarred Desert. Virtually devoid of water and baked with blistering heat by day, the inhospitable terrain abounds with shattered, otherworldly ruins predating the devastation of the Wizard King's war. The mutated inhabitants of these forlorn ruins, their bodies racked by the same arcane abominations that warped and twisted the landscape, mercilessly prey upon travelers foolhardy enough to cross the desert. The dearth of magic allows some semblance of normality within Alkenstar's territory in the Western Ravage, but the Spell-Scarred Desert is constantly devastated by churning currents of raw magic, supernatural storms, tears in the veils of reality, and other disastrous after effects of the nearly endless arcane cataclysms of Wizard King warfare. Whew. These unusual effects warp both the land and its inhabitants and occasionally bleed north up the Ustrati River or are blown across the plains of Geb and Nex upon uncharitable winds. Often these storms have no physical manifestation, but just as often they're accompanied by a march of pestilent, ghostly armies, cacophonous gibbering that echoes for hours, slicing rains of tiny metal shards, or other horrifying phenomenon. T-Pain for Nightfall. That's really nice of you. Reading the lore, this is a severe encounter. Man. Yeah, yeah. Let's see. Let me pop this up before I forget. Oh, no. Control V. Nightfall. That's very kind of you. They're in need, for sure. They're in need for sure. Let's see. Okay. So that covers a lot. That covers a lot. I think we've finally gotten kicked out. Nope. Alright, cool. All right, so we have read about Acanis, Alkenstar, the Mana Waste. We have read about Nex and Geb. We have read about the Grand Duchess, but we could probably read a little bit more. We haven't read any of the backstories of these people. That's in the player's guide. We've learned about the cultures and ethnic groups that are most prevalent in the region. And we've already prepped the adventure proper. And we made a cool thing there. I'm going to add a note to Tokens and Art. Many of the human ethnicities have darker skin tones. So that I can kind of make sure I'm getting some good diversity there when we start making NPC tokens and such. Oof. All right. Okay. So one of the things I did want to look up was wild magic, but I don't think they have a table for wild magic. They just sort of mention wild magic bad, but I want wild magic to be real fucking bad. As it is, it's supposed to be a no magic zone, and then they changed it for the adventure because they didn't want to make an adventure and then tell people you can't use magic because they're cowards. So let's see. Would this book in any way cover wild magic? Let's see. Yeah, Mana Waste is an area of wild magic that's the only mention of wild magic in the whole book. Interesting. Alright, let's see. Pathfinder 2E Wild Magic Surge Table. Alright. Well, here's the baby-sized rules for wild magic. There we go. Alright. Magic, I'll zoom in a little bit. Magic cast within and near the waste can be extremely unpredictable, sometimes even volatile, if not performed with extreme care. Due to the lingering fractures left by the war between Geb and Nex, and their extensive use of metamagic, wellsprings, and other destabilizing amplifiers, the Mana Waste acts as a massive but broken wellspring for any who attempt to use magic within its confines, causing magic to surge into wild and uncontrolled effects. Normally, when magic is cast, it gently tugs upon everything around it, pulling on the network of magic that lays invisibly across Golarion to gain the energy to make the spell possible. When casting a cantrip, little within the environment changes, but much larger spells might rattle trees or lower water levels. Even those changes are barely perceptible, save under the most extraordinary conditions. The war between Geb and Nex met and exceeded those conditions significantly, and spellcasting with the Mana Waste began to pull on the underlying network of magic directly. The constant tugging and eventually frayed the network, cutting off swaths of the region and starting a slow process of flooding others. This flooding, and the boost of spellcasting power created, was used and drained in turn, beginning the process again, resulting in the fractured lattice of magic in the Mana Waste. Today, any spell cast within the waste has a chance of causing a wellspring surge for the user, if magic even functions at all. These surges are unpredictable, and their effects even more so. Anecdotal Anecdotal? I think that's anecdotal. Let's see. So real talk. If you read books, I guess maybe you know how to pronounce words more. Maybe, I don't know. Something anecdotal. All right. Let's see. Pronounce.
Anecdotal.
Anecdotal. That's definitely what it looks like. All right. Anecdotal. Evidence suggests that particularly well-placed spells, even if they are simpler in nature, can cause surges that far outpace their effects under normal circumstances. Anyone casting a spell within the mana waste must attempt a flat check, losing their spell and creating a wellspring surge instead on a failure. The table below is a guideline, but GM should feel free to raise the DC for a surge, such as when a satiated but not stabilized mana whirl is close by, or lower it, especially if there have already been surges nearby. For more on Wellspring surges, see Wellspring Magic. A critical failure on the flat check has the listed effect on the Wellspring surge generated. Alright. So, critical failure, you roll on the Wellspring twice. Damage effect or effect is doubled. Add 1 die or 5-foot range to the effect. Roll twice and use both effects. Damage range. Okay. Nice. With the unstable and uncertain nature of magic in the waste, all areas are prone to mana droughts. Stretches of time where little to no magic is capable of functioning. While those who have made a home for themselves in the waste are prepared for this sudden loss, spellcasting adventurers and newcomers could be caught off guard. At the GM's discretion, a mana drought could occur anytime. During a mana drought, either no spells are available for use, or only those spells with a certain level range are available. For example, only cantrips and spells beneath 3rd level might be available for days at a time, with bursts of time ranging from a few seconds to minutes when no one can cast any spells, which they discussed in the adventure as like weather phenomenon, essentially. Darby, I see that you've posted P232. Is that a page number in this book that we're reading? Let's see. Because I only have 138 pages, bro. I only got 138 pages. So I don't know what book it is. All right. Maybe in the core book. I don't know. At the GM's discretion, blah blah blah. People of mana waste find ways to work around it. Alkenstar, for example, has firearms and alchemy. Blah blah blah. Still others brave the waste for other reasons. Okay. So that doesn't actually help us too much solve that problem, but let's see. 20 different results for wild magic. All right. Okay. Oh, there's a book specifically for the impossible lands? Like an entire book that's hundreds of pages long just for the impossible lands? That's crazy, man. Pathfinder, Lost Omens, Impossible Lands. In a land still scarred between two underlying mages in respective nations, reality defies the rules. A 334-page book just about the regions that we're discussing right now. What the fuck? Oh my god. What the fuck, Darby? Did you read this book? Did you read 334 pages of lore about 3 nations? That's like 110 pages per nation. Wow. 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 That's fucking crazy. Like, oh my god. Man, $30 for the PDF. Mm. Mm. Yeah, that's too far down the rabbit hole for me, man. 334 pages. Jumpin' Jesus Christ. Well, they are not hurting for content. That's for damn sure. For me, I think the big thing is that I enjoy Paizo's lore as something fun to read and as inspiration. But at the end of the day, I like world building too much to give up my homebrew setting to run Golarion instead. So the fewer mechanics a book has, the less relevant it is for my group. But the Lost Omens line has products like Ancestry Guide that are super heavy on mechanics. I essentially want to support Paizo. Essentially, I need Lost Omen line to fill the role. I understand. Okay. Damn. That's bananas. Wow. What? What? I. That's so much. That's so many. So much books. It's a lot. It's a lot of word pages. Oh my god. Knowing that it exists is gonna haunt me for like the rest of my life. Oh my god. Wow. All right. Well, I'm traumatized. I'm traumatized here. All right. I'm certainly not going to pay $30 just to have access to the table. I got an idea. Hold on. Let's get the robot on board. Okay. All right. You are a Pathfinder 2E expert on the lore of Golarion and designing content for Pathfinder 2E. Tabletop RPG adventures. All right, good. Your lore is only current until 2021. Okay. Well, we'll see what we can do, baby. Let's see. All right. All right. Here are 20 examples of things that might happen if you cause a wild magic surge. These are excellent examples. Yep. Well, I didn't even ask you to. All right, sure. These are excellent examples of potential outcomes of a wild surge in Pathfinder 2. They add a lot of unpredictability and excitement to the game, making every magic casting moment an adventure in itself. I agree. With this variety of effects, players will have to be prepared for anything when they trigger a wild magic surge. Here are a few more ideas that you could add to your list. All right. So, let's see. The new examples are doppelganger distortion, illusion mental. Yeah, that's right. It's actually putting fucking tags on it because it's an expert at Pathfinder 2. A magical distortion causes all creatures within 30 feet to appear as identical doppelgangers for 1 minute. Identifying the original creature requires a successful perception or sense motive check. Nice. I don't know if sense motive is a skill or not, but whatever. Spatial Rift. A small rift in space opens randomly within 20 feet of you, creating a portal to a random location in the world. The destination could be an entirely different plane of existence. Jesus Christ. Time dilation. Time around you slows down or speeds up erratically for 1 minute. Each creature within 30 feet of you must succeed a fortitude save or become slowed 1 or quickened 1, depending on the surge result. Elemental Affinity. A random elemental force aligns with you for 1 minute. You gain resistance to a specific elemental damage type, but you also become vulnerable to its opposite element. Okay. Animalistic Surge. You take on physical aspects of a random animal for 1 minute, granting you specific abilities or traits associated with that creature. Empowerment Overload. Your next spell is automatically heightened to the maximum level you can cast, but it also costs twice the normal amount of spell slots or spell points. Spell Reversal. The effects of the next spell you cast are reversed. For example, a healing spell would cause damage, or a damaging spell would heal. Reality Fragmentation. A section of reality becomes unstable within a 30-foot radius. This area becomes difficult terrain as objects and creatures shift erratically for 1 minute. Cacophonic Chorus. An ear-piercing chorus of voices fills the air, causing creatures within 20 feet to be deafened for 1 minute, with a chance of confusion on a critical failure. Shadow Step. You and all creatures within 15-foot burst become ethereal for 1 minute, able to move through walls and obstacles, but unable to affect the material world. These are fantastic. Can I please have 20 more that are different from the 20 I shared with you and the 10 you shared with me? That are, similar in design to these, comma, but different, I don't know, but unique. That's the word we want to use. Unique from the 20 I shared with you and the 10 you shared with me. Of course, I'm glad you enjoyed the previous suggestions. Here are 20 more unique Wild Magic Surges for your Pathfinder 2e adventures. You just got to know how to talk to the robot. That's the thing. You got to know how to talk to the robot. All right. Of course, I'm glad you enjoyed the previous suggestions. Here are 20 more unique Wild Surge magic effects for your Pathfinder 2e adventures. Feywild Enchantment. The area within a 30-foot burst is flooded with vibrant colors and scents as the influence of the Feywild takes hold. Creatures in the area must succeed at a will save or be fascinated for 1 minute. Nice. Spell Erosion. The magical weave weakens temporarily, causing all spells cast within a 30-foot radius to be treated as if they were 1 level lower. Ooh, that's a good one. Elemental Cascade. The elements go into overdrive with bursts of fire, gusts of wind, and splashes of water. Each round for the next minute, a different elemental effect occurs randomly in a 10-foot burst. That's exciting. Arcane Infusion, Divination Transmutation. Magical energy suffuses the air, granting creatures within a 20-foot emanation a +2 status bonus to all saving throws for 1 minute. Nice. Memory Alteration. Everyone within 30 feet must succeed at a will save or believe a specific event from their past happened differently. This alteration persists for 1 hour or until they are subjected to a successful remove curse or similar effect. Temporal Backlash. Time briefly reverses for all creatures within 40 feet, causing them to become flat-footed and unable to take reactions for a round. Mirror Magic. All spells cast in the area for the next minute produce identical mirror duplicates that target random creatures instead. Oh, that's spicy. Gravity Well. The gravity in a 30-foot emanation becomes erratic, causing creatures to be knocked prone or float in the air randomly for 1 minute. Magical Maelstrom. A swirling storm of magical energy fills a 40-foot area. Creatures within the storm must attempt a fortitude save or be affected by one of the following randomly determined conditions: deafened, slowed, or dazzled for 1 minute. God damn. Mystical attraction. All creatures within a 30-foot burst have their equipment and items magnetically pulled towards each other, causing them to be entangled for 1 minute. Oh, that's fucking awesome. Wild growth. Plants in a 20-foot radius rapidly grow and spread, creating difficult terrain that lasts for 1 minute. Reality fracture. The fabric of reality becomes unstable within a 30-foot radius, causing all creatures and objects to randomly shift places with each other. Uncontrolled summons. A chaotic surge of energy summons random creatures to the area. The creatures are not under anyone's control and act according to their own nature. No wonder they outlaw magic in Alkenstar. Holy shit. Yeah. Alright. Let's see. Quicken spell. The next spell you cast is automatically quickened, allowing you to cast it as a free action, but it costs twice the normal amount of spell slots or spell points. Elemental fusion. 2 opposing elemental forces converge, creating a dangerous storm within a 40-foot radius. Creatures must attempt a reflex save or take random elemental damage each round for 1 minute. Cursed Aura. A 20-foot burst becomes an area of negative energy, causing living creatures to be enfeebled or sickened, determined randomly for 1 minute. Colorful Metamorphosis. All creatures within 30 feet gain random vibrant colors on their bodies. The ink appearances grant them a +2 status bonus to performance checks, but impose a -2 status penalty to stealth checks. And it doesn't have a duration, so I guess it's forever. Distorted size. The size of all creatures within 30 feet randomly increases or decreases by 1 size category for 1 minute, affecting their statistics accordingly. Elemental blessings. A random elemental force blesses creatures for within 20 feet, granting them resistance to specific elemental damage type for 1 minute. And reality warp. A random creature within 60 feet experiences a temporary shift in reality. The creature must make a will save or be subjected to the effects of a random beneficial or harmful spell determined by the GM. Feel free to use and adapt these wild magic surges to add an extra layer of excitement and uncertainty to your Pathfinder 2 adventures. Wowee. Alright, so let's go ahead and make a new document. And it is going to be wild surges. Because this is also on my prep list. Alright, so we'll take these OGs, put them in there. And then we'll go to Robit. There we go. And let's see. Oops. Grab this. The formatting is terrible. Oh, I know what the problem here is. Okay. Yeah, I brought in like a table, but not like a good table. Okay. So we'll do a notepad. And we'll clean this formatting up later. We're just gonna grab all the juicy meat and chunks real quick. Alright. Okay. I'm gonna put this, and then we're gonna say, you are doing an amazing job. Can I please have 25? No, we're at 40 right now. Alright, so do we want to stop at 50? Let's see. So we're currently at 40. So can I please have 35 more wild surge results that are similar in design to the ones we have so far, comma, but unique and new. All right. Let's see. Thank you for the kind words. I'm delighted to continue assisting you. Here are 35 more unique wild magic surge effects for your Pathfinder 2 adventures. Beautiful. So that'll put us at 75, which is a pretty good amount. How many casters in the game with a DC 5 flat? Not sure if a D100 is needed. I mean, DC 5 flats 70 is a 25% chance, man. That's pretty. So Curse of Strahd Nightfall only has a 15% chance of getting random encounters, but somehow they get more random encounters than anyone else on the planet Earth. So, like, I mean, how many are we gonna need? I don't know. But yeah, everybody, from what I'm picking up and people are saying down, there are still people that are playing spellcasters. So, yeah. Well, it's a higher chance. It's like a 30% chance if you go into the woods, but it's only if you go off the road in Curse of Strahd, it's a higher chance. But it's only 15 if you stay on the road. And you guys still can't seem to stop getting random encounters. All right. So let's see. All right, I'm gonna grab all these, and that'll be good. And I think we're almost at 2 hours, so that's how much time I wanted to put in for this. All right. Let's see. Thank you so much. You are a huge help. Okay. So one of the things I wanted to add to the game is a newspaper. And we already have newsy tokens. But I want to make a newspaper template in Photoshop. I thought that'd be pretty fun. And then each chapter of the story, we could make a new newspaper. And then it will feature famous multiverse characters, Bob Bobbington and Susan Pineapple, who this time around will actually just be a fucking pineapple. So let's see. Is a pineapple. Leshy. Because this setting's just wild as fuck. Alright. And let's see. So it would needs a name. And location within the city. So, fun story is I had a newspaper in another steampunk game that I ran, and it would run stories about things that were happening in the city, and it was kind of like the quest board. You could like hear about things going on in the city and then go and like, oh, let's go check out those quests or whatever. But also as the party started to build their reputation, they would see articles about themselves in the newspaper. So then that was kind of neat. And then when they didn't like the articles, they actually one session like went down to the newspaper building, and they were like trying to shake down like the news company to like stop writing slanderous news about them. It was very meta. It was a good adventure. All right. So I'm feeling pretty good now. We've done some due diligence here. We've done some research. We still need to learn a bit more about the world. So let's see. Is there anything detailed about Gunworks? I imagine that's stuffed in that 334-page fucking bonus book or whatever, which is a shame. So I'm gonna put locked behind 29.99 USD 334-page lore book. All right, and I'm assuming Shattered Range is also gonna put us in the same boat. Let's see. Shattered Range is like so far off the edge of the map, though. I hope to God they don't actually go there. Yeah. So we'll say mountains. And oops, we don't want that. There we go. We could learn about maybe lead. I think that's also locked behind another. Let's see, lead. Wah. Okay. Grey Dirge. Nope. Okay. And probably Katapesh as well. So we'll really have to weigh our interest level in the world to go and check that shit out. Oh, okay. Katapesh we could actually learn about. Nice. Alright. Katapesh and the Golden Road is on page 49. Alright. See page 49 of Lost Omens World Guide. Okay. And I believe we can find more about these peeps by reading the back of the adventure. And then story backgrounds we still need to address. I don't have Guns and Gears either. I don't know. It's on my Amazon wish list. Let me see. Paizo, Guns and Gears. I need to buy it. I do need to buy Guns and Gears. The PDF is only 20 bucks. So I should probably buy Guns and Gears. Alright. Alright. That's my compromise. I'll get Guns and Gears. Let's see. Purchase and read Guns and Gears. Alright. But really, though, I learned a lot of the things that I wanted to learn. That's the important part. Yeah. Let's see. Yeah, so on that note, we put in our 2 hours of prep, and I am going to stop for the night so I don't get too burnt out. This campaign is not starting until mid-August, so we still have the 24th, the 31st, the 7th, and then the game is going to start on the 14th. So we have 3 more Mondays after today that we could be prepping. I said I was going to try to do some prep on Saturdays, but, you know, I can't seem to stop playing Red Handed Doom, so we're just going to not ever stop that, I guess. And then on the 5th of August, I'm not playing Red Handed Doom, but I will be playing Baldur's Gate 3. I guess the 12th, I could do some Outlaw prep in the morning. And then on the 19th is the first high noon Outlaws. So at the most, we got 4 more prep sessions before the campaign starts. All right. Other announcements: Pathfinder Abomination Vaults tomorrow. Cyberpunk Red with Dom. Wednesday, nothing. Thursday, nothing. Friday, nothing. Saturday, nothing because I'm going to be on vacation. Sunday morning, Curse of Strahd Daybreak. Sunday night, Mythic Odyssey. And then that following Monday, we'll be back here to do more Outlaws prep. And I think I'm just going to jump back into the campaign itself. And we're going to be cracking open Book 2 and trying to get work done on Book 2. So that's what we'll do next time we prep. Hope everybody enjoys the rest of their evening and their week, and I'll see you next time.